Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and we are working through some technical issues at the KHNC studios. Jim, our engineer, is there. Jim, I've got a repeat delay in my ear, so just to let you know, as we work through all that, now I don't have the repeat delay. See, there you go. That's how quickly we can do things. Welcome to Hump Day. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, allamericangold.com. And, man, we are working on the, we're going to have the My Kind CBD interview. I think we did another interview with Jerry. Man, if you missed it, really great stuff from My Kind CBD. By the way, if you go out to 1360, I need to mention this. You know, we got a blog out there. We got a group of young writers that do that. We also have a new podcast that isn't on the air, but talking about murder mysteries and things of that nature. So go to the blog. I mean, we got the shopping cart, we got the blog, we got the podcast. We're going to have the podcast set up for My Kind CBD, and so you guys can get educated. It was fascinating. The things that CBD can do for you guys. Some of the ones that he was talking about, we got new products coming. The soaps are coming. There's a soap line and a lot of skincare, talking about what CBD and, you know, with the dermis and all that, and just a great product. It's amazing. Ryan's just texting me there's going to be a big tech takeover article coming to the blog page here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. You know, we're really trying our best to get the word out. The CBDs that you order from us really help do that for us. The guys at My Kind really want to help support the radio station. We've got both the 1,000 milligram and the 3,000 milligram on special. So the 1,000 milligram, we took $5 off. That was normally like a $50 product. It's $45. The 3,000, which is the one I use, that is $10 off. So from $99, $100 to $90 on that one. Any order, you're going to get a free lip balm as well. That's going to be a free lip balm for the rest of the month. Anybody that orders is going to get a free lip balm. The retinol cream. Jerry was adamant. You know, and we know. You know, this is the. Especially with the cell phones and everybody's filming everything and TikTok and I don't even know, right? The YouTubes, right? There's always a camera. You want to look decent, right? You know, hey, I want to look good. Telling you, he doesn't brag very often, but the story with the retinol cream, he's like, listen, first of all, you don't have to wait for months to get results. You'll notice it within the first week. He says it'll make you look 10 years younger. That's what he said, 10 years younger. They ran, and listen, everything these guys do, they run all of these case studies, and they're working with the people in the industry. He said they ran it against a product that cost $1,200 and destroyed it. That's what he said. But the salve, man, I got to tell you, and I'm a big fan of the salve. I use the salve, but the salve is one of the best things they make as well. You could use it for just about anything at all. Even, you got acne and stuff like that. The salve is great for that. So is the retinol. But check it out, and the prices are fantastic. He talked about the purity of the product, and without naming any names, and this is what I've been trying to tell you, a lot of this CBD, because you can get CBD at the grocery store now, and man, did he rip on it. He's like, it's CBD oil, it's not what you think it is. It doesn't have nearly the amount of CBD that you think it's going to do and all of those things. And believe me, I'm telling you, the quality you're getting from these guys and the price you're paying, it's unmatched. Just go out to 1360 KHNC, hit the shop button, and order yourself some CBD. Then go check out the blog. Then go check out the podcast. I mean, heck, we can keep you out there all day. Hey, when we get back, listen, a lot of things to talk about today. We got trade deficit numbers. How much money is leaving America? The numbers keep piling up. The U.S. Mint. Whoa, man, they were talking about how much demand for gold and silver. Well, this one for gold off the charts. Put it this way. Not that you can get any, right? I mean, you can hardly get it. More gold sold from the U.S. Mint in the first quarter since I've been working here. The only quarter, this is the second biggest quarter, the only one that was bigger was Y2K. Right? Remember the Y2K? But again, the only reason it wasn't bigger than Y2K is they didn't have any product. Imagine how big it would be. Also, the COMEX talking about delivery bars. Remember, I've been saying this all along. This isn't going to be a short squeeze. This is going to be a physical squeeze. And we'll talk all about it. Patriot Radio News Hour. Don't touch that dial. 800-951-0592. As I told you yesterday, better get your portfolio right. I've been saying it for the last year now. You need to overweight that portfolio in gold and silver. I'm telling you. I had a great call from a listener yesterday. And he wanted me to use a different term in describing what's happening here. And let's take an easy one, a layup, if you will. When it comes to the central bank telling us there's no inflation. We know there's inflation. Hell, we know there's massive amounts of inflation. Remember, just one change. Just one. Go back to the way you tracked housing inflation 20 years ago. Go back to that number. Inflation's 4%. One change. This is how significant they can make things happen. And they have the cheerleader squad, right? Rah, rah, yes, yes, yes. Right? It's almost turned into pro wrestling. Right? The pro wrestlers, they try to create heat for the matches, so they have the baby face, right? The good guy, right? And the bad guy, and they try to get you all fired up. But what we have is nothing but good guys that tell you, oh, yeah, no, it's great, it's great. Gaslighting. And he was talking to me about, hey, I think this may help some people understand what's happening. And we were talking, and I actually looked up the definition of gaslighting. Okay. It's a form of psychological manipulation in which a person or a group covertly sows seeds of doubt in a targeted individual or group, making them question their own memory, perception, or judgment. And I just was like, man, that's exactly what they're doing. They want us to believe that what is really happening isn't. And they want to alter our judgment. They want to alter our own memories and our own perception. Ryan is telling me that on the air that my voice keeps repeating. So Jim and Jason, if you're listening, Ramon, I don't know if we can fix that or not. I apologize, but that'd make it tough. Listen, just my voice by itself is tough. Having it double is even worse. So I don't know if that's happening online, if that's actually going out on the air. Again, we're working. We had some technical issues at the 1360 studios, but we're trying to work through those. I apologize. We thought we got it right, but it's live radio, so I'll just keep going. And if I get more updates, I'll let you know. But think about that. Isn't that what they're doing? Yeah, there's no inflation. Right? And they just keep repeating it over and over and over again. Oh, now Ryan says it's good now. Okay, so maybe we fixed that problem. Thank you, guys. Hey, listen, we're quick. We're quick. We're fixing them quick. That's an improvement for us. Well, you talk about throwing you off a little bit, but so gaslighting and all the things they want us to believe that we can go trillions of dollars into debt. Matter of fact, Jamie Dimon came out on TV. Oh, thanks to deficit spending, we're going to have growth to 2023. Is it growth? Is it? Is that success? Giving people something for nothing and calling it prosperity? Come on. Just nothing but gaslighting. Right? They want to try to create doubt in us. They want to try to, our own memories and our own experiences, our own judgment. What? The laws of economics stopped applying? How about the trade deficit? Another month, another record. This was a February number. So February, there's only 28 days. Over $70 billion of wealth left America in February. It's going to be probably 77, 78 billion in March. I mean, these numbers are getting absolutely insane. Right? Of course, they try to gaslight us on this one. Oh, well, we're just importing a lot of stuff. Do you know how we became a superpower? Because we exported stuff. We're going to pay the price. Well, we are already. We see it. The rest of the world sees it. You know what? So many, and people, it's so funny. Gold, you're the tinfoil helmet wacko. That's kind of gone now, hasn't it? Right? I think a lot of us feel pretty vindicated, especially in our little circles of friends. Yeah, buying some gold, that's not as dumb as it sounded anymore. But now the amount of people buying. The U.S. Mint today released that the sales at the Mint had their best start to the year and their best quarterly sales in over 20 years. Think about it. This is better than the housing crash, better than the financial crisis, right? Think about it. Sales data compiled by the Mint just in American Eagles, which were pretty much unobtainable from the third week of January on. Matter of fact, I actually bought more Australian gold than any other in the first quarter because it was the only to do IRAs, you can't put old gold in IRAs. They don't let you. Another reason why you should own them, by the way. So you have to put gold bullion in there. But 412,000 ounces. 412,000 ounces. And again, remember, right? Most of that was done the first 3 weeks because you couldn't really get it after that. That was an 88% increase from 2020. It was the largest sales pace for the mint since the third quarter of 1999, which made sense, right? Right as he got up to Y2K there, everybody was, remember, the computers weren't going to roll over and you weren't going to be able to buy anything. I know that going through some of the records there, Eric sold so many of those Y2K packs. It was incredible. I think a lot of people became first-time customers with Y2K. I'm thinking about what was gold? $300, right? I mean, I know for a fact some people were buying 10-ounce American Gold Eagles for like $35. And today, first of all, I can't get any. And if I could, they'd probably be $245, $250. The data says the U.S. Mint sold, 66,000 ounces of gold in March. Again, but that was all they had, right? And again, nobody got it. I mean, it was because they just don't have enough product. They said that in February, okay, the COMEX, so that's the U.S. where gold trades here in the U.S. is on the COMEX. They delivered 113 tons of physical gold to investors. Now, a ton, just so you know, a ton is 32,150 ounces. So just think about that for a second. So the U.S. Mint says, hey, we sold 412,000 ounces. That's a lot. The COMEX said in just February alone, they delivered 3.6 million ounces of gold. Now, let's just say February is a shorter month, but let's just say they did that in January and they did that in March. That'd be 10 million ounces, more than 10 million ounces. They say that is 500% or 5 times the historical average. What did gold do in February? I know. We all know. Paper-wise, they told us it was down. Right? They're telling us it was down. And yet, actual physical deliveries from the COMEX itself was 500% above historical averages. Again, gaslighting us, aren't they? Trying to convince us that the reality, that our own logic must be wrong. And this is why I keep telling you that this hasn't let up at all. This physical squeeze is continuing like a freight train. And again, they want to try to pretend none of this is happening. It is coming, and it is coming. And you know what? I'll bring up Glenn Beck from yesterday. The digital U.S. dollar. Not only is it coming. Now, Glenn Beck says it's coming sooner than I say. He says it's coming next year. But they are going to engineer it. Very simply put, if you've had success, if you've been able to save money, right? You've done it right. Hey, I've got my 401k. I put in the maximum year after year after year. Right? I've got the IRA. I've got my annuities. I've got money in the bank. I live within my means. You're going to get a significant haircut, according to what people have been telling Glenn Beck. Hey, the poor people, right? The ones that, hey, I didn't have a 401k, I didn't save. And again, let's face it, for a lot of people, right? Hey, it's not a question of I did it. It was a question I couldn't. I didn't make enough money to save anything. I barely get by. We're going to get a 1-to-1 conversion. The success, maybe you're going to lose about half. Don't you think you better have some of that in gold just in case he's right? 800-951-0592. I went back and checked because, this 500% thing keeps coming up. And then I went back, India, right, the second largest consumer of gold. Their March imports for gold surged 471%. They did, listen to this, 160 tons. So think about the COMEX. The COMEX said in February they delivered 113 metric tons. India says, hey, in March, just our country alone, we did 160 metric tons. And I'm like, just those two. It's 9 million ounces of gold. It's incredible. Listen, make sure you got your house in order. All these things. I was bowling yesterday, and man, do I suck at bowling. I'm just not good at it. My problem is I can knock down 9 pins. It's the 10th one that I never seem to be able to get. But we are talking, in housing. One of our friends is thinking of selling his house. It is like, I'm going to get an incredible amount. I don't want to say how much, but it's several $1 million. He says, but there's nothing to buy. And he goes, so, whatever I make, they want to downsize. He goes, but I'm going to downsize, and all of that is overpriced. And they all of them. Oh, it's going to crash. It's going to crash. It's going to crash. And then I was like, and I'm sitting there going, I think you got a little more time yet. It's not ready. It's going to crash, yes, but I think we got more time. But now we're starting to hear all of these things coming out. Jay Powell and Janet Yellen, they love Joe Biden. They've got the patsy they want. And I'm telling you right now, I know you know this up there. You know. This is deliberate. They are creating the biggest bubbles the world has ever seen. And using COVID as the reason to do it. We're saving everybody. There's 18 million plus people getting the unemployment check thing. Most of them, by the way, have been unemployed for 6 months or longer. 25% of that 18 million haven't worked in over a year. But there was a JOLTS report out that says there's 8 million job openings. Now, that's not 18 million. But all of us know, we know what's happening. We're paying people not to work. And they want to just keep paying them and keep paying them and keep paying them and devalue and devalue and devalue. You know, the latest thing now, the Federal Reserve won't even tell us the money supply anymore. They just took it off. Yeah, we don't want you to know. Because they know. Janet Yellen on Monday called for a new tax levy on corporations around the world. Now remember, they said, oh, we're not going to raise taxes on you poorer folk. Of course, I don't know how many examples I've given you already. Here's another one. Listen, you know what these companies are going to do, right? They're going to pass the cost on to everybody else. We are working, she says, with the G20 nations to agree on a global minimum corporate tax rate that can stop the race to the bottom. She said, so remember, so now here's what they're saying. Well, we had to cut taxes on the corporates because all these other countries did. We had to be competitive. No, we didn't. It was all make-believe. But now what they want to do is to get everybody together and agree to charge businesses more in taxes, which is great, fine. But they're just going to pass that along to everybody else out there. And she said, but by doing this, see, if we all agree that if we raise taxes and you raise taxes and everybody else raises taxes, that's somehow going to help things. That's not the problem. You know, even now, we collected over $3 trillion in taxes in 2020. The problem is we spent almost $8 trillion. Today, though, so that was Monday. Today, she said more interesting comments about what she would like to see happening when it comes to taxes. A new detailed sales pitch for the Biden administration's proposed new corporate tax code as the Treasury Secretary unveiled the plan. She says that it's going to be fairer for all Americans. Listen, more taxes isn't fairer. That's not fairer. Taking away from success to give it to failure is not fairness. Matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. Every study you've ever seen about taking from one to give to another does not promote prosperity. Let me forget about money, okay? Because that's too easy, right? Because we know, right? Look at how many people are on food stamps. Look at how many people get housing in the system. Look at how many people Social Security is their only income, right? Blah blah. You know, on and on and on and on. Once you get on, you can never get off. Let's look at it from, let's just say you got kids in school. How would you feel if your child was an A student, okay? And of course you got A students and B students, C, D, and Fs. If the school says, you know what, we're just going to take your A and we're going to lower it to a B. And then we're going to take the guy that got a D and we're going to give him a C. How do you think that would help your child and the other child at all when it comes to learning and writing and reading and arithmetic? It's the same thing. This is absolute nonsense. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. You hear talk about inequality all the time now. It's like one of the new buzzwords, right? Inequality, racism, right? There's so many of them now. All these divisive things. How about like defund the police? What? And I don't mean to laugh, but any person with an IQ higher than room temperature knew what was going to happen. Nobody in bad neighborhoods wants less police. Nobody. Except who? Criminals. Thugs and gangsters want less police. Nobody else. If anything, they want more. Oh, let's defund the police. Because there's a video of, we know why. And of course, now what's happened? Murder rates, crime, everything's skyrocketing. And you're like, what? Real? Are you guys this dumb? This is the same thing that's happened to us financially. Janet Yellen is a freaking liar. She cheerleaded corporate tax cuts when she was at the Fed. Told us, oh, we're just not competitive, blah, 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 blah. But now, oh no. Now our tax revenues are already at the lowest levels in generations, talking about corporate taxes. Well, let's see, Janet. Well, you've been at the Federal Reserve for decades. You were the head of the San Francisco Fed. You were the chairman of the Federal Reserve. I didn't hear you complaining. And of course, now a lot of that was for what? Tax giveaways, and they wanted you to be 401ks and be in the stock market. That was what it was for. Don't get me wrong. Corporations pay a very small share of taxes, just so you know. Should they pay more? Probably. But at the same time, why do they have to pay more? It's because you keep devaluing the money. That's really the biggest problem. And she says as they continue to drop lower, talking about corporate tax rates, you have less money to invest in roads and bridges and broadband and R&D. You're going to spend $2.25 billion, of which very little of it is for what you say it's for. But okay, again, because it sounds good, right? How can you be upset about spending on roads and bridges and research and development? Now, pay no attention that, over $1.5 trillion of the bill doesn't spend it on any of that stuff. And they're talking about, trying to get the rest of the world to help them. Let me tell you, here's a quote from her. It's about making sure that governments have a stable tax system that raise sufficient revenue to invest in essential public goods and respond to crisis, and that all citizens fairly share the burden of financing government. I know that old piece of paper. I know. It's so old, and it was written by a bunch of racist white guys. Let's not forget that. But they warned us. They warned us about big government. They warned us about the bankers. See, they knew what fiat money does. And here we are now, and I'll use that school example again. You got an A. This kid got a D. I'm going to give the one that got an A, I'm going to give you a B. And I'm going to get the guy with the D, I'll give that person a C. You think that's going to help? Is that going to make better students? Is that going to make the kids smarter? Or what's it going to do? No, it's going to incentivize the ones that were getting the A's to stop working as hard. And the problem is it's going to incentivize the kid that got the D to work even less. Might as well get an F. Because then I'll get to the D anyway. They'll just hand me the D. And now you've got our Treasury Secretary telling everybody, We need more money because the government's got to be bigger so we can give more money to somebody else. It's called inflation. And it's not 2%, 3%, 4%. I mean, really, what is it, 10? And rising. Listen, they've got $2.25 trillion. That's going to pass here in the next few weeks. Then they got another $2 trillion teed up. Listen, it's incredible. It defies logic. Right? It's just like that, the guy that called about the gas line. Listen, they're trying to convince us that this is okay, and you know it's not. But again, this is what they want. And it's going to come crashing down, and the digital dollar is coming. And I promise you, that I know is happening. You know, going back to the Glenn Beck part, I didn't even think about it. Boy, it sure makes sense. You know, we're gonna have different exchange rates for different people. Matter of fact, some of the quote-unquote right people, you may get more than dollar for dollar, right? We know what that is. And then you maybe you're not the right person, but you're not, you know, you're poor. You know, you'll get dollar for dollar, and then everybody else is going to get a lot less than that. Why you got to have it in gold before that happens? Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Yes, the laws of supply and demand have not changed. Everybody is in the gold market and silver market, if you're smart. And they're in there big. These are volumes that they've never been before. And I know the spot. They just want to try to give the illusion that all of this stuff isn't happening. But it is. And the more it happens, right, the bigger the move in gold is going to be. Listen, they're spending and spending till no end. Listen, yesterday I had some $10 pieces. I still have some $10 liberties. These are the old gold, 1866 to 1907. I said it earlier. You can't put these in IRAs. Isn't that odd? I can put gold eagles in it. I can put gold bars. I can put Australian kangaroos and maple leafs and Kruger wrens. I can put just about anything in there. Matter of fact, if you ever come to the Phoenix office, I got a big picture up now with all the different items you could put into an IRA. But you know what you're not going to find? $20, $10, and $5 liberties, saints, and Indians. Can't put those in there. Why? Well, they're a collectible. And remember, the government views it differently. And I think one of the first places they'll go when the digital dollar comes in, wouldn't be surprised if they're going to try to do some type of gold backing with it. If they want to seize gold, it's going to be in those IRAs. Right? That's where, you know, because it'd be easy. Like gold eagles and buffaloes and bars and Kruger wrens and all of those things. I'll probably have to turn them in. Now, could they say you got to turn the old gold into? Yes. But it's interesting, isn't it? So these $10 liberties are a half an ounce of gold. They're minted between 1866 to 1907. You know, back when we had a country, believe it or not, that ran without a central bank just fine. And guess what? There was no inflation or inflation targets. Matter of fact, we didn't really even have debt. Right? Think about it. They're at $1,000 today at 800-951-0592. Gold is unchanged. Well, it's down $1. Gold's down. It's actually a really strong day. You know, gold's been on a pretty big tear, and usually The second it gets it right near that 1750 level, they have the big sell-off. Didn't happen today. So right now, gold's 1741. Silver's unchanged. $25.25. The Dow and the NASDAQ are down. Well, in the S&P, pretty flat, really, everywhere. The Dow's down 15 points. The NASDAQ's down 15 points. The S&P's up 33 cents. Gold's down $1, right? Silver's unchanged. Pretty flat day today. There wasn't a lot of economic news outside of the trade deficit and then Janet Yellen making a major case for significant tax increases. Guess what one of them is, too? All tax breaks for oil and gas. They want to get rid of all of it. Yeah, you think we're paying a lot for gas now? Just wait a little bit. 800-951-0592. Keep getting that gold and silver put away. We'll be back. We got two more shows, but I've got one more show this week, and then I'm out on Friday. But Jason will fill in. God bless everybody. Don't forget those CBD products.